Today on WATv News, we look at the recent stock market news, we catch up with a brand new teacher, and we find out what's happening with the Broadway revue. And WATv starts now. Good morning, Wheaton Academy. I'm Peter Canaris, and welcome to our first episode of the semester and our 25th of the year. Wheaton Academy is known for its spectacular musical performances year after year. They produce amazing performances that produce talent, and though COVID-19 challenged the theater department with restrictions, they have not backed down. They're going beyond expectations and putting on a Broadway revue where students will perform pieces from individual shows. Reporter Tegan Allison and photographer Greta Gustafson have more.
In November of 2020, the Wheaton Academy Fine Arts Department announced that they would be putting together a Broadway revue in order to accommodate the COVID regulations while still putting together a musical theater performance. Many students look forward to the fall and spring musicals every year. Mrs. Marr, Mrs. Woelfel, and Mrs. Burek were not going to let the pandemic stop them. As The Addams Family was able to be performed at the beginning of the year, there was hope for future shows to be performed even in the midst of a pandemic. Thus came the idea of a Broadway revue, created of multiple song and dance numbers from different musicals. This innovative idea allows the directors and students to perform in shows that would otherwise not be able to be done, such as Matilda, Dear Evan Hansen, West Side Story, and more, while still being able to accommodate COVID restrictions. Though it will be different for the actors not having a live audience, the ability to express their talents and share the revue for free on YouTube opens the door to global audiences of friends and family. As rehearsals are in full swing and recording week is coming fast, keep an eye out for more information on the release date so that you can support your fellow students. With WATv, I'm Tegan Allison. Back to you at the desk.
A plethora of new faces have walked the halls of Wheaton Academy this school year. From freshmen to transfers and faculty, WA has welcomed newcomers with open arms. Reporter Catherine Swallow and photographer Kenneth Tolman interviewed the new English department's new recruit.
As we welcome in a new year, we also welcome in a new teacher, Ms. Autumn Ratliff. She's no stranger to WA. She transferred in her junior year and graduated in 2015. She came last semester to observe as a student herself coming from National Louis University, and she's now teaching this semester in this very classroom, teaching sophomores and juniors English, her favorite subject.
To have my own classroom at Wheaton Academy is something I've been dreaming about for a very, very long time. So I'm just really excited and really happy to be able to work with all the great students that are in my classes.
As you can see, she's rearranged the desks in 2 U's. She believes people should look each other in the eye when talking, as it makes for better understanding and communication.
I believe that I can learn just as much from my students as they can from me, so I really like to hear my students' voices and to get them involved in the classroom because the only way that I can learn the best way is to hear their voices and to hear what they have to say and then work together with them.
The English department and all of Wheaton Academy is happy to have Ms. Ratliff back at school. From WATv, I'm Catherine Swallow.
Most of us have heard at least something about the stock market recently, or at least have seen the memes. Reporter Zach Gardner has an explanation of really what's going on Wall Street and Reddit.
Subreddit Wall Street Bets took the stock market by storm this week. They rose up failing companies like AMC, GameStop, and BlackBerry up to 900% this week. I spoke with Zach Bottoms and Mr. Rivera to give us a little bit more insight on what happened this week.
The easiest way to describe this is that there are there are groups like hedge funds and others who do this thing called shorting. A group that's doing shorting wants a stock to actually lower in price. All right, that's their goal. They want it to lower in price. And there's a number of stocks that are out there like GameStop, AMC, BlackBerry, places that you wouldn't normally think like, oh, these are very, very successful right now, right? And there are groups of people who are on Reddit and who are like investors themselves. So what they said is, hey, let's all gather together and try to get as many people as possible to buy GameStop. And because the goal of the hedge fund is they actually are trying to short it and they want it to go down, the opposite is happening. And in fact, Instead, the GameStop, which used to be like $18 a stock, is now over $300 a stock, like basically in a super short amount of time, right? And so they are doing that essentially to hurt these hedge funds.
Due to the big hedge funds losing millions, they turned to brokerage apps like Robinhood to ban the stocks. I spoke with 18-year-old investor Zach Bottoms about the aftermath.
So with all the hype building on these stocks, the amount of people buying and selling them is increasing, and it's getting absolutely crazy to where brokerages, the institutions that help people buy and sell them, are crashing. And there are some brokerages, like one Robinhood, that are just completely banning AMC, GameStop, a lot of really big stocks that are being traded on the speculative hype.
From WAtv News, I'm Zach Garner. Back to you guys at the desk.
After all the snow this last week, is shuffling in this week's forecast? Andrew has more.
Thanks, Peter. I'm Ty Abrams. I'm here for your weekly weather report. So you know that storm front that we had this weekend? Well, it's moved past us, and it's attacking the East Coast area, so the worst is already over. But there's this new storm system coming in down the corner. It's going to affect us this weekend and bring in some colder temperatures, and it's going to freeze us over starting Thursday. As you can see, from Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to have a bit of about 30 degrees of weather. Thursday, about 36. It's going to be partly sunny for the next couple days coming up. Thursday is going to be the start of that cold front. It's coming in. It's going to bring a little bit of rain mixed with snow. It's going to freeze us over for the weekend. It's going to be about a low of -1 to 5 degrees. So it's going to be a little bit cold this weekend. So you want to make sure that you clear off that snow and make sure it doesn't freeze over coming up this weekend. Today, it's going to be about 31 degrees, partly cloudy with a little bit of sun. Sun setting about 5:09 p.m., which only means there's more time today to enjoy that sun and get out there. I'm Tyler Abrams. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Tyler, for the weather. Mr. Bowling is a well-known teacher here at WA. What isn't very well known about him is that he has his very own podcast. Reporter Isabel Kelsch and photographer Rachel Cobb have more.
This week, my colleague Rachel and I talked to Mr. Bowling about a project that he's been working on for about 2 years, but which was officially renamed in 2020. He told us more about his podcast, For the Good of the Neighborhood, and the inspiration behind it.
You know, it really came from a church I was going to and still go to, Renewal Church in West Chicago, and their slogan is for the, making disciples for the glory of God and the good of the neighborhood. And I really just love that imagery of the good of the neighborhood.
For the Good of the Neighborhood is currently available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and you can find the latest couple of episodes on YouTube by searching its title.
My goal is really just to try to encourage people to do two things. Is one, just to be a good neighbor, and then I use the phrase, love their neighborhoods as they love themselves. And so really, the idea is to encourage how can we be servant leaders. I would love to bring on a co-host. And I've actually talked to, just had a conversation with somebody today that I'm super excited about. I can't tell you who it is because I don't want to let the secret out. But I'm bringing on a co-host, working on getting a blog started. So really just trying to create as many avenues as possible to get the message out.
Thank you to Mr. Bowling for sharing the story behind his podcast. Besides just a catchy name, For the Good of the Neighborhood has some amazing and relevant messages to inspire you in your life and your faith. So if you're into podcasts, go check it out. For WATv, this is Isabel Kelsch. Back to you guys at the desk.
A new digital music club will be starting this Thursday, February 4th, during lunch. If you are already using music software or wanting to learn with everyone else, or if you're just wanting to learn how to make beats and write songs, stop by and check it out. The meeting will be in room 102 at lunch on Thursday. Mr. Ellison would like to remind all student drivers that drive and park on campus to make sure that they have a parking permit and that it is valid for this school year. Juniors and seniors should have a punched hole in their permit by Mr. Ellison that validates the payment for the year. In an effort to maintain campus security on our campus, beginning this week, there will be random parking lot searches and any vehicle not displaying a current parking permit will be ticketed. If you choose to not pay for a parking permit, you can still park off campus in the surrounding neighborhood. However, Wheaton Academy will not be responsible for any damage, theft, or any other incident that may happen to your vehicle while you are not in school. The cost for the new permit is $40. Please see Mr. Ellison or send him on-campus messages for more information. The video live stream team is looking for volunteers to serve in the upcoming months. We need camera operators, editors, graphic ops, and even play-by-play commentary. If you have any interest in helping to record the chapel's fine arts, events, or Mr. Wah, or even sports events, graduation, please come to see the next meeting on Wednesday in the Fine Arts Center auditorium. For our community scoop this week, Mr. Thornton is joined by Mr. Hogan to talk about next week's Spiritual Life Week.
Good morning, Wheaton Academy. Welcome to Community Scoop for this WAtv episode, the 25th of the year. And we're excited to be with you. We wanted to give you some reminders, and I'm here with Mr. Hogan today to take a look forward to next week, to Spiritual Life Week. And we were anticipating having one of these episodes last week to try to get this as early in the semester as possible. Snow day got in the way of that. I'm here to give you 5 reminders that are more procedural as we start the semester and want to see it through. We know we're in for a long haul here. We know we're tired of guidelines, all of that stuff. I'm just asking you to rally around this as a community so that we continue to have in-person learning here and advance the mission of the school. So I'm going to walk through these kind of in order of when they happen in the day. The first is, please remember to do self-certification. As a community, the majority of you are doing a brilliant job with this, and we're going to adopt something new this semester where we're keeping track of people who are missing self-certification, for whom Ms. Sesnov needs to go around and pull you out of class. If we go beyond 5, that's when I'm going to get involved, and there are going to need to be some heavier intervention measures. We understand that there may be a morning where you get up and forget to do the self-certification. It happens. It's happened to me. It's happened to all of us. And we want to allow some grace for that. But also, if it becomes a pattern and it's repeated, that's when I'm going to need to lean in and get involved. So please be vigilant about getting that done. Second, for those of you who drive, you need to park in the right spot. Especially as it's snowing, please don't make your own spots. If there's snow in the way, get in between those yellow lines, and especially outside of the maintenance building. You need to leave those spots free. We've had a few of you parking there, and that causes disruptions to the day of our wonderful maintenance staff. Please keep those spots free. The overflow parking lot is the sophomore lot, and if you're running late or you can't find a spot, do a servant-oriented thing, park and take a few extra steps on your way into school. Third is mask wearing. Again, as a community, you've done a brilliant job with this. Really proud of us. Every once in a while, I'm walking around and seeing masks down here or not covering the nose. And if you're tired about being reminded of that, get a mask that fits around your face, that tightens around your nose. We can help you out with that at the front desk. Again, this is not necessarily a thing that we love doing around here, but it's something that is allowing us to be in school in person. So please, please abide by the guidelines there. Fourth is dress code. You know what's expected of you. Some of you are trying to get away with or see what you can get away with and coming to school in some comfortable clothing or wearing hats indoors, those types of things. We'll call it out when we see it. And again, these are community standards we're trying to abide by, to dress professionally and to dress modestly. The professional element of that is especially in play when it's cold outside. We're asking you to be mindful of that. All of these things are kind of like rules things. And yes, we're concerned about the behavior, but I'm also concerned about the heart behind it as well, and that your heart is lining up with what we're driving at as a community. And that's rallying around one another to the end of the mission of the school, that we be in right relationship with one another, striving after excellence with a mind for service. And then finally, just please be timely, on time, either to Zoom class if you're at home or showing up for class. We've given, especially upperclassmen, a lot of freedoms to be on and off campus. We're asking you to abide by what we're expecting, to be in class on time, and to be mindful and respectful to your teachers, to your other classmates, so that when that bell rings for class to begin, you're in your seats ready to learn. I'm going to kick it over here to Mr. Hogan. He's going to talk to us a little bit about Spiritual Life Week coming up next week.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Thornton. We're excited for Spiritual Life Week next week. You're going to be excited about our theme. It's incredibly creative. Our overall theme for the year is hope, and our theme for Spiritual Life Week is keep hoping. Keep hoping. We're going to stay with it. Found in Hebrews 10:23, let's hold unswervingly to the hope that we have, because he who has promised is faithful. So we're going to keep hoping and are excited about our time together. Monday and Tuesday, our speaker is going to be the infamous the most famous, Jeff Brook, is going to be with us, and we're excited to have Mr. Brook back with us. Wednesday and Thursday, Gloria Umana will be speaking for us. Then on Friday, we're going to have a time of just celebration and reflection about the week. There's a couple of other events and things that we want to let you know about. On Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday morning at 7:15 in the FAC, I know that's incredibly early, but we're going to have what we're calling the worship room. It's just an opportunity, since we can't have a big worship night during the week, it's an opportunity for you guys to kind of come and go in the morning. There'll be some leaders leading us in worship. Our discipleship team, our Project Lead Chapel team will be together to pray with you, and for us just to pray and set a tone for each day of the week, and we want to invite you to be a part of that on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday morning. On Thursday morning, we're going to have the prayer breakfast that we might normally do during this week. And so there's going to be a grab and go breakfast in the atrium, and then we'll meet in prayer circles in the commons, and then overflow into the library if we need to for that. But we're going to take some time together and pray as a school for some very specific things for our community. So we want you to be a part of that. And then last but not least, as is our tradition, we're going to take an offering during Spiritual Life Week for our work with Kids Alive in Haiti and the DR. We've had a great year. The Lord is blessed, and you guys have been so generous. We want to continue to press forward. There's going to be opportunities for you to give either cash gifts or whatever in your classes. We're working on maybe kind of a digital way, a QR code for you to be able to give, and we're excited to press in and to really continue to give hope to the kids through Kids Alive. So you guys get excited. It's going to be a fun week, and we're going to keep hoping together. So thanks, guys. Back to you, Peter.
Mr. Zalka is a teacher here at WA who has embraced her creative side and who has created an entire business out of it. Reporter Juliana Perry and photographer Greta Gustafson talked to Mr. Zalka to get the details.
You may know Mr. Zalka as your English teacher, but she also has her own ceramics business. We sat down and talked to her to learn more about it.
So my family and I own Thistle Bee Ceramics, and then I'm the main potter, so I do all the throwing, and then my mom and my sister help with the glazing and everything.
From their home, they work together to create unique and functional pieces for others.
My favorite thing to make is functional ceramics. So it's bowls, plates, dishes, planters, all those kind of things that you can actually like set your table with. I love doing that because there's nothing more beautiful to me than actually having people use the art that you make.
To learn more and see more of her work, check out her website at Thistle Bee Ceramics. This is Juliana Perry from WATv. Back to you guys at the desk.
Reporter Tegan Allison is back with photographer Lydia Daniel to report on WATV's flexible classroom spaces.
As many of you know, classroom locations are a big deal when a new semester starts. So looking at your schedule and seeing that your class is in an unusual place can be quite a shock. Many students and teachers have encountered this change because of our current circumstances. Some locations being used are the wrestling room, dance room, Whitechapel, and band room. We talked to Mrs. Gregerson about teaching a math class in the field house.
Well, I'm actually a little excited because I feel like I'm one of the few female representative teachers in the field house, so it's a little bit fun. It's been very interesting because the makeup of the classroom is not a typical math classroom where you have whiteboards on at least 2 walls.
Teaching in a new class can be challenging, but it can also be a fun experience. Earlier, we had the opportunity to speak with Mrs. Moon on our first day of teaching Bible in the dance room.
Honestly, I wasn't super thrilled just because we had already started in the academic building, and the thought of moving to another spot, I wasn't really happy, but I understood.
As you can see, making a major change to a different classroom can be hard, but if there is anything we have learned from this pandemic, it would be that we need to be flexible. Teaching in these strange locations opens the door to larger classrooms and better discussions. So the next time you have a class in a different room, thank your teacher and give them more grace as they are trying to adapt. With WATv, I'm Tegan Allison. Back to you at the desk.
First, a thank you to all the students for being super flexible during this time. But second, thank you teachers for all the classroom switches you needed to make, and you continue to bring it every single day. With our 4 things you need to know, here's Emma Vega.
Thanks, Peter. I'm Emma Vega, and I'm here to give you 4 things you need to know. Number 1, the IHSA came out with new revised schedules for all remaining sports. Basketball is starting up right away, and we look forward to having games start as DuPage enters Phase 4. Number 2, today Mr. Ellison and his son Matt spoke in chapel, and Jana Dukes will speak on Thursday. Number 3, we would like to start announcing upcoming birthdays for our facility and staff. Stop by and wish Miss E a very happy birthday on Wednesday. There is a birthday we missed that we should call attention to. Congrats to Mr. and Mrs. Thornton on the birth of their 4th child, a baby girl named Eleanor. Number 4, today is Groundhog Day, and chalk it up to a carryover from 2020, the groundhog definitely saw its shadow, and we have 6 more weeks of winter. Back to you, Peter.
Thanks, Emma. That is unfortunate news about the groundhog, but at least we have sports to look forward to. That will do it for this week's episode of WAtv. Catch these and more stories on our Instagram account @TheRealWAtv. From all of us at Studio 22, have an amazing day.